East Coast Figs, Ivan, Real Cali 619 Life, Unknown, and Dub Figs UK, you have been acknowledged. Metal Driver here, and today I am finally taking a look at the new Elite Series 100 set. And today I'm starting off with the most electrifying man, and that is The Rock. We get this really cool art of The Rock on the front and on the side. We get a nice read-up of Rock along with this really cool artwork designed that was made by Jonathan Bartlett. And of course, the rest of the figures that are in this wave. Now the packaging of this figure is really good. The whole set has this style of packaging. I really like this. Very glossy look all over, but I'm not a mint on card collector. I'm going to open this up and we're going to go ahead and take a closer look at The Rock. Here we see a 360 look at the People's Champion. We get to see his entrance gear, and he comes with a few more accessories that include gripping hands, open hands, along with the coolest accessory with this figure, and that is the custom Brahma Bull Championship belt. This looks really nice, and it's so awesome to finally have this. We have never gotten this in the Mattel line. I don't think we've ever gotten this with Jakks Pacific. If we did, let me know in the comment section below, because I can't think of it. But it is so nice to finally have this. The detail on the sculpting of the middle plate looks really good. We get the Brahma Bull there. Says Champion, WWE logo. Mostly gold. We see some red and some silver, which looks really nice. Good sculpt work there. Side plates here. We got The Rock in silver. I think that is silver, right? Or is it white? That's silver. Brahma Bull plate there. It says the symbol of greatness. Pretty good lettering there. Another side plate that says The Rock. That one in red. Same side plates on the other side. And then this WWE plate right here. So this is really cool. Definitely the selling point for this figure. At least for me it is. Because even though I haven't properly looked at the figure, but based on the images, there is going to be at least one thing I have an issue with, which we will get to very soon. But in the meantime, this is a nice belt. Looking at the other accessories on the figure, that is his entrance gear. We see his sunglasses, the gold ones with the black lenses, which we see many times with The Rock. This is pretty standard for his type of sunglasses that he wears, so nothing really much to talk about here. They're nice, they look good. And then we get a new Rock jersey. This one is black with some dark blue and silver. I like this color scheme. We did get a jersey about a year ago with the Top Picks Rock. That one was red and white. So same logo here. Instead of black silhouette, it is a white one. It has The Rock here. On the side it says number 1. Good printing on the sleeve. I do like the texture of this. So this is nice, and these should not stain the figure. Never had an issue with these, so let's just double check, because I seem to have very bad luck with staining, and seems like all figures tend to stain nowadays with these wrestling companies. And no staining. Good. Good, that's the way it should be. Then taking a look at the head sculpt, this is brand new, which I appreciate. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, because usually when I think of Attitude Era Rock, specifically Corporate Rock, I don't really think of him as a smiling type. That was usually more of a serious version of The Rock, but I appreciate that it's a brand new head sculpt, and I think it's pretty good. It's kind of growing on me. It does remind me of that smiling Rock head sculpt that came with the Ultimate Edition Rock. We saw that with a few other elites, but obviously they will look similar because it's the same guy. The paint on the lips look good, the eyes look good, the eyebrows, sideburns I believe are sculpted. Paint a little bit sloppy right here, but it looks good on the other side. Nice sculpting of the hair. It's not flat, it sticks up a bit. That was an issue I had with last year's Top Picks Rock. That head sculpt was not a good head sculpt. The sculpting on the hair here is more flat, which shouldn't be. It's not accurate for this version of The Rock. Looking at the body, it's the same standard elite body that we see with Rock, so nothing new here. Looks good. Good paint on the Brahma Bull tattoo. I like that. He's got double jointed elbows here, and he's got new elbow pads. I was not expecting that with this figure. I don't know if the rest of Series 100 is going to be like that, and if WWE figures are going to incorporate this new elbow pad moving forward. It is a rubbery feel, very similar to that Seth Rollins rubber that they used on that jacket. Looking at the previous Top Picks Rock, that had a more of a stiffer plastic compared to that elbow pad, so this one is very rubbery. Hopefully it doesn't rip, but I think the idea is that it helps with the range of motion in the elbows, because both of these Rocks have double jointed elbows, but even though this previous Rock from last year has double jointed elbows, it extends just further than 90 degrees here, but but just barely, whereas the new elbow pad, the range of motion goes further, so that is nice. Then look at the design on the trunks, and this is where it kind of goes south for me. Before I go on to the negative, the positive is we have not gotten an Elite Rock with this logo design in red, at least I don't think. Maybe we did several years ago with Rock from the 2010s, but certainly not this version, one that I usually think of with 2002 Rock, so nice good paint there. Could have used another coat of red on the letters here, but other than that, it looks fine. Nice red design on the back right here. Painted pretty well, looks good. Okay, so you might be wondering, what is the big deal with the design here? Well, if you're not the biggest Rock fan, or if you're not OCD like me, which I'm very OCD, that is incorrect with this version of the Rock. You see, Rock didn't start sporting this design here on the trunks until about the summer of 2000. That was almost a year after he had stopped having these long sideburns, so that is not correct. When the Rock had these long sideburns, he had this trunk design right here that came with last year's top picks. In fact, this figure had a terrible head sculpt in my opinion. I did not like this head scan. It's outdated. We shouldn't have gotten this. We should have gotten this head scan with this figure. That would have made sense. Having an Attitude Era Rock with a corporate Rock look with this trunk design does not make sense. By the time he started sporting this logo, his sideburns were a pointed mid-length, and at times he'd even have sideburns. This design I usually attribute with 2002 Rock, even 2001 Rock. That actually would have made sense to have this trunk design with this head sculpt right here, the one that came out with the WrestleMania Elite Rock a few months ago. So I'm sure there are probably some people out there that don't care, maybe even some other reviewers that may not have pointed this out. I don't know. I don't know what the general consensus is, but for me, The Rock is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I'm very OCD, so I'm very particular when it comes to the head sculpts and the trunk design, and this is wrong. This is annoying. It doesn't ruin the figure, doesn't make me hate the figure. Just makes me scratch my head and think, why, Mattel? This seems like a pretty careless mistake, a very stupid one. Couldn't have someone from the WWE side of Mattel say like, hey, these aren't right, we should change this. Either that or they did that on purpose because we have an Ultimate Edition Rock coming out pretty soon and they didn't want to have another 1999 logo. But they could have given us a different color scheme, maybe all silver from SummerSlam 1999, or maybe one with the purple outline around the silver letters. I don't know, just it seems annoying that they did this. At least it is for me. I don't know how other people feel, but I'm annoyed with it. We get standard knee pads here for the Rock and the Rock style boots with this open calf part right here. So pretty basic, looks pretty decent. So not a bad looking figure except for this logo here. That is the wrong logo. Alright, out of these three Rocks, this one pretty much has no issues as far as head scans and trunk design, but this head scan will look perfect on this one. This is the wrong head sculpt for these trunks, and this head scan should have been retired a long time ago. I want to get rid of that. So I'm going to go ahead and put new heads on these two bodies, see how that looks. It should look better in my opinion, and I do have an extra Rock right here. I bought two of them. So let's go ahead and see how that looks. Yeah, that looks much better. This head scan looks perfect with the body on this figure with the trunk design here. This is the one that should have came on with this color design on the trunks. Now, if they wanted to go with Attitude Era Rock, considering that we got the Brahma Bull Championship belt, then he should have had the designs on these trunks. Painted a different color. We could have gotten purple, all silver, whatever. But something like this would have looked much better, more accurate. That would have looked great. I like how this looks. I'm going to keep it this way. This head scan looks great on this body. I'm going to keep this like that because I do have an extra WrestleMania Rock. So again, not sure what the general consensus is with this incorrect combination that Mattel gave us, but I don't know why they did that. That's annoying. That's frustrating. Come on, Mattel. Come on, Mattel. Don't be stupid. But what isn't stupid is the articulation on this figure. The head goes that high up, that far down, can't turn side to side, and tilts very well. Shoulder goes that high up, rotates all the way around, biceps swivel, double jointed elbows. Pretty good range here with this rubbery elbow pad, which, by the way, might be a little bit of a pain to take off with this new material here. You can still take it off, but might be a little bit more difficult than the previous one. Just as a heads up in case you want to pose him doing the people's elbow. He crunches that far forward, goes that far back. Actually, that's pretty far back. You can see the inside of the torso. That's kind of creepy. We swivel, legs go that far out, that high up, thigh cut, double jointed knees, ankle goes that high up, that far down, and some decent ankle pivot. Here is the new Elite 100 Rock figure next to the 2 Rock figures that I have next to each other that are corrected. The topics that came out last year with this same Elite 100 head, which looks great on that figure, and the WrestleMania Elite head sculpt on the new Elite 100 body, which looks fantastic. These should have been the Rock figures that we got. Again, that one in the middle is incorrect. And finally, here is Elite 100 Rock with his jersey next to the Top Picks Rock that came out last year with his jersey. You know, I'm feeling a bit torn with this figure because there's some good things about it and then there's some negative things about it. And I can see some collectors out there maybe not caring, maybe thinking it's not that big of a deal, and in the grand scheme of life, it's not. But in one of my videos last week, Z-Quack asked me, who is your favorite WWE superstar, and what is your favorite figure of that superstar? Well, the answer is The Rock. The Rock is my all-time favorite WWE wrestler, because he was the one that got me into wrestling. Yeah, I watched wrestling here and there in 98 and 99, but it wasn't until I started watching SmackDown when it premiered on UPN that I became a huge fan of the WWF and of pro wrestling, and The Rock was the guy that made me that fan. And for that reason, Rock has always been my favorite, so I've always been very particular with how Rock has been presented in action figure form, because I love that Attitude Era version, I love the long sideburns, I love the trunk design, so when Mattel gives us something that's incorrect, my OCD kicks in, and I am very OCD. It starts to bug me, and this isn't the first time they've done this. We got a SmackDown Collector's Rock a few years ago with long sideburns with his 2001 trunk design. And then years before that, we got this Rock with a silver logo and this track shirt that he wore back in the Attitude Era. The box said that it was 1998 Rock, even though clearly the head sculpt and the image that they showed was Rock from 2002. So this isn't the first time Mattel has made a stupid mistake with the Rock figures. And that's what it is. It's stupid. Just like me ranting about this is stupid. Because it's a figure, it's a toy, it's not the end of the world. But I like being honest with you guys. I like giving you my real opinions. I don't give fake opinions. I don't just blindly praise every figure that I review. So the good about this is that the head sculpt is good. I didn't know if I was going to like it, but I do. I like it. And best of all, is the championship belt. I think that alone makes the figure worth getting. But the trunk design is just wrong. It's so stupid wrong. But the silver lining in all this is that I have extra Rock figures, so I was able to put this head sculpt on this body and the WrestleMania Elite head sculpt on this body, and that looks good. So to answer that question, what is my favorite Rock? It's definitely not this one, because it's inaccurate. I honestly don't know if I have a favorite. Would probably be a custom that I have. Hopefully that updated Ultimate Edition that comes out later this year will be my favorite Rock figure. I am hopeful for that. In the meantime, I say this is worth getting just for the Brahma Bull Championship belt, but be aware that it is an incorrect depiction of The Rock as far as his attire, but other than that, it's not the worst that I've seen, and so far Series 100 looks very promising, so I can't wait to finally review the rest of the wave. In the meantime, hit that like button, subscribe, check out my latest WWE figure reviews, and I'll see you next time.